So here we are on the Sisters Guide podcast. It's the first ever episode that we're making.
Oh my God, how exciting.
This is crazy. Um, yeah, so let's just talk about it then. Let's talk about like how we got here, what the Sisters Guide podcast is. Just let's just talk about it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is probably, it's just the hot topic right now. But let this be known that this chick literally said this, what, a year and a half ago? A year and a half ago, she came to me and she's like, I have this crazy idea. We should do a podcast. And I remember feeling just so excited. I'm like, oh my God, she is literally the best. And I was so excited for it. But at the same time, I literally knew that in that moment, I was not ready. I was not ready. And look at us a year and a half later, launching all of our dreams, all of our current dreams and evolving.
Look at us.
So this was something seriously just put into the universe a year and a half ago. And we are finally here and doing it. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so happy to be here.
Agreed. Agreed. So the Sisters Guide name comes from something that is very near and dear to both of our hearts. Originally, we were going to go with something else. Unfortunately, that name was taken because it seems like podcasting is all the rage for some reason. I didn't think that it was as popular as it is, but that name is taken, and we came up with the Sisters Guide podcast because we're sisters. We're not really sisters. We're best friends who live miles and miles apart. Uh,
800, I'm pretty sure.
yeah. So it's just it's something that we call each other. We're sisters. And then guide is something that's also very near and dear to our hearts because it's something that we talk about a lot is that we have these like universal guides, these unseen guides that we, talk to, and they guide us. They guide us through life in different ways, not in anything that's super like, these are my crystals and
I love that. I love it because I let this be known. I am that crystal girl. I believe in it wholeheartedly. I am. And Austin and I were just joking about that last night. Oh gosh, that's amazing. Yes, we have been guided and just perfectly aligned here. So I can't think of a better way to really kick off 2024 than with the Sisters Guide podcast and just watching us both, but especially just, I don't know, just kind of fall into this higher version of ourselves and
absolutely.
just fall in love with our life and just talk about it and hit all of those relatable points and things that we could have been doing 4 years ago when we, really became best friends. But I just can't think of a better time to do it than now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, we, it's all supposed to happen like when it's supposed to happen. And the things that led us to this point and making this podcast are those things are a huge part of our stories. And it's just now is the time that it was meant to happen. And it's just crazy how the stars have aligned and it's just worked out the way that it has.
Yeah.
And it is crazy. So let's share some of our goals for this podcast, what we want to come of this podcast, what we, you know, what kind of purpose does it serve? So from your perspective, and then I'll share mine.
Okay. From my perspective, when Becca and I really started brainstorming on what it is that we want to be known for, are a hot topic. I have a love-hate relationship with this word just because of lack of knowing, but as an influencer. And today we actually connected this morning, and Becca put it into such good perspective and just saying, whether you like it or not, this is the role of an influencer. And I just get such like an ick from it, because I think that the influencer exposure that we've had up until this point has been, I don't feel like it's been put to good use of what it actually is meant for. And I am all about spreading love and light onto other people. I think the best thing that you can give is your knowledge and just your love and compassion. And had I known this in high school, had I known this in early adulthood, I would be a way different person and I would have done things so much differently. So, one of my biggest hopes is, yeah, to be an influencer, to be that person that you can listen to, and you know your day is just going to get 10 times better because you walk away thinking, dang, like I can do this. I love that. I guess that's really my main hope, is that people listen in and they're like, those are my girls in the sister guide. Those are my girls. And I'm going to go out and spread some love and light today.
Absolutely. I think that's a good way to put the whole thing, because the real like the big picture is to really just empower women that have been in the same situations that we have been in, and to
Mhm.
kind of just show them that everything is going to be okay if you have that mindset shift. And that's like what we're all about, is just teaching people how to how to grow and evolve, how we're sharing our journey
Mhm.
of how we've come to be where we're at right now. And that's what we want to share. We want to share this journey because we want it to empower other women in the same situation. So I think I think that's good. I think we should talk a little bit about where we were 4 to 5 years ago. Um, but first, because we're already how many minutes into this podcast and we haven't even introduced ourselves. Um,
That's the best. That's the best.
um, okay, Tara, you're Tara. Um,
Yep.
Tara, go ahead and just tell me like what your life looked like 4 to 5 years ago, and that's how we're gonna introduce you. Tell me what it
Okay.
looked like.
God bless that baby girl. 4 to 5 years ago. I am so humbled. I think this is the perfect way to start off this podcast. Number one, I'm a big person on never forgetting where you came from, and letting that humble you and just inspire you to do better. I mean, oh my gosh. I actually listened to Matthew McConaughey in like one of his motivational speeches, and he was talking about when someone asked him who his hero is, and he was like, my hero is the future me in 5 years. And I have held that near and dear to my heart. 5 years ago, well, four going on 5 years ago, I had just been introduced to Becca through a mutual friend, and thank God. Thank God, that was the universe's biggest blessing, one of the biggest blessings for my life. It was 2019. I had just had my son, and my kid's dad and I, we were going through just a really, really rough freaking time. And little did I know that my life was about to forever change. So fast forward, we went through a really, really rough patch, and I'm sure somewhere down the line you'll hear more about it. But long story short, I ended up coming back from maternity leave and working for a local physician, and I ended up moving out a few months after that, and I had finally gotten my very first own apartment. I was by myself. I was a single mom with two babies, a 6 month old and a 3 year old, and it was kicking my hind end. Um, I feel like at that time I was making pretty good money for living in Indiana and doing what I could do, but oh my God, moving into my own apartment for the first time ever since living at home, I was scared out of my mind. I was scared out of my mind. And that was really when it clicked for me. And I was like, I'm leaning on my people. I'm leaning on my girls. I'm leaning on my community. And I have never, I never realized how much that meant to me. Yeah, I had friends growing up and stuff, but it was really when I had hit that low in my life that I realized, like, no, I need my girls. Like, go call your sister. And again, so I was making pretty decent money, but nothing to go crazy about. And fresh out on my own, and two little babies in this townhome. Mind you, it was not in the best part of town, and I was scared.
I was gonna say, do you remember the homeless man that came into your apartment?
Yeah, so I let's just let this be known that there are going to come stories down the line that are just like that did not really happen. And yes, honey, it did. At one point, are you talking about the guy when I was pregnant and I woke up and he was in my house?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And I was mind you, I had never taken self-defense classes. And at that point, it was literally a vacuum standing between me and this complete stranger. And I thought I was going to have to open a can of whoop ass.
Oh my god, that's so scary. Was
But mind you, that PTSD, all in all, it turned out to be fine. He was just really strung out on some not so great stuff, and he moseyed his ass all the way down to the Walmart down the street and actually got caught with some rinky dink items that he had stole from Walmart and some like a rinky dink table put up behind the hacienda on the west side. So, like, insane, insane. No one was hurt. We're all fine, but just some weird crap. And we'll get into it more, I'm sure, but that was another huge reason for moving, for relocating. So I was living in my townhome by myself, scared. I mean, I spent months sleeping with the lights on and having to tell myself every night, like, you are safe, your kids are safe, it's going to be okay. um i I struggled hard. It and little did I know that, like, majority of those struggles probably could have been handled way better and way differently had my mindset been in check. And it, like I said, poor sweet baby girl, poor sweet baby Tara, she just did not know. Um, I Anything that could go wrong was going wrong. Like, my apartment was falling apart. I was literally, my washer flooded my entire kitchen, not once but twice. uh, God, it was a mess. I was doing laundry in my bathtub because I was too afraid to leave my apartment to go up to pay to use the laundromat with a baby and a 3-year-old. So damn, I have been humbled. And just so for reference, everyone knows my financial spot was so poor that, like, my pick me up once a week was seriously paying for coffee and quarters. Like, I literally would hold off, and that was my pick me up. That was my treat myself. There was a Dunkin' right in front of my house, and they knew me by name. They knew that girl was coming in with her quarters. Um, but again, it's humbled me. And fast forward, that was like coming into COVID, and it was brand new times. Everyone, I think, was just so scared. We were all scared. Our world was being shut down, and I had hit a point where I was done. I was done. I didn't want to live like this anymore. I was tired of having to sleep with the lights on. My mom, I missed my mom. Like, I missed my family. I had my girls, but I just missed my mom. So that was kind of the turning point for me, where that summer, I would say we went balls to the wall, just lifting each other up and spending as much time as we could outdoors, with it being, the pandemic. and putting back as much money as we could. And then I hit the point where I was like, Mom, come pick me up. Come pick me up. I'm done. I'm done. And so my children's dad, thank God he loved me enough to just say, yeah, go, go. Okay. And we loaded up everything and took off. And so we relocated to Texas, and I've been in North Texas ever since. Ever since. And it's one of those slow burns where I don't I if it weren't for you and a few other friends and like a couple family members, I would never ever ever go back. I would not look back at that place. I have a deep like gratefulness that it all happened and transpired the way that it did, and I look back and I can't help but think, this was such a part of me. That's where I was raised and that's where I grew up. And had I never been there, I would have never met you. I would have never met you. I wouldn't have my kids. But then another part of me is just like, yeah, it's not for me. And since like relocating was the best decision I've ever made, and I will forever thank myself.
Yeah, I can actually remember, I actually remember when we worked at this physician's office together, and like these were conversations that we were having on like a regular basis about your situation and like how you really did want to leave, but you were too scared because you didn't know what to do about the kids and your situation with Austin, and like you were really scared, but you were like so many times we would sit in our boss's office and cry
Mhm.
because our boss was another friend of ours. And we would sit in her office and we would cry about how unhappy we were with our situations. And I can remember the peanut butter bread that you cried over. And it's funny to us
Yeah.
now, but like there, then it had a much deeper meaning as a mother. So what the peanut butter bread is, um, for those of you that are listening, the peanut butter bread was Tara's basically your meal. It was your meal. It was what you ate all the time to save money. Was just you had a loaf of bread and you had peanut butter and that's what you were eating. And I can remember a story you told me about like you were crying because of the situation, and it was Emerson had asked for the last piece of peanut butter bread and you were hungry, but you gave it to her.
Yeah.
That story just it sticks with me. It gives me chills because it's not just about peanut butter bread. It's about sacrifices that we make as mothers all the time.
Yeah.
One.
Y'all, I was dirt poor. I was dirt poor.
And I disagree though. I don't think you were dirt poor. I think you were just really, really freaking good at like saving money.
Frugal.
You
Yeah.
were really frugal about things. You weren't like, I mean, you weren't like well off, but
Yeah.
like, you were really good about saving money, which is why you treated yourself with quarters and stuff. Because if
Yeah.
you were really, really poor, you wouldn't have, I know you wouldn't have even spent the money on coffee if you were dirt
Yeah.
freaking poor. So
Yeah.
it wasn't so much that you were poor, it was that you were frugal because you had these things. You were a big girl. You were raising two kids by yourself and you had bills to pay. And yeah, you absolutely wanted more. And I can remember us talking about you wanting to leave. Of course, I didn't want you to leave, but I wanted you to be happy and I wanted the best for you. And we had these conversations where I feel like at times you just didn't you weren't going to do it because you were so scared of the repercussions of taking the kids, and then
Yeah.
you freaking agreed to it, and
Hmm.
then off you went. It was like your child just left the nest. You know,
Yeah.
you weren't in my nest, but like it's sad, but it's also like beautiful because now you're like miles and miles apart, but we still talk so much, and I feel like our relationship has gotten even stronger.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. By like light years. It's like whenever like when I met you, met you, it's like I knew you. I knew you. And those conversations just working together. It's like I'll never forget. We were sitting there and one day it was like, do you ever feel like you're meant for more? And you're like, yeah. And we're like, me too. Me too. Do you ever get that? And I just remember being like, I'm reading The Secret about law of attraction. You're like, oh my God, I love that. And it just snowballed into this massive, just amazing, beautiful friendship. Yeah. And actual action behind it. So, yes, yes. But I wouldn't trade any of it. I would not trade any of it for the world that has led us here today and to our friendship. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. So, Becca, let's dive into you. Let's dive into Becca. Let's dive into who you are and what has gotten you here.
Yeah, so when we first met, well, we had known each other since high school, but we really became close when we worked at this physician's office because I had also just had my child in November. So Bentley's a little bit older than Isaac, but still, we're both like still pumping at work and like we're still getting that square boob feeling. Um,
Yeah.
so we're really relating to each other. And at that point in time, I was married and I was a brand new mom for the first time. And I had to go back to work, or I wasn't working prior to me working at the physician's office. When I went to work after, or prior to me having Isaac anyway, when I went back to work after having Isaac, um, it was there at the physician's office. And it was right before, like you said, it was right before COVID hit too. So I was only working there for a couple of months before they were like, go ahead, go home. Like, we don't, if you're not comfortable being in the office, you can go home. So then I got to spend a lot of time at home with my baby, which I was grateful for and everything. But fast forward, rockier relationship things happened and I ended up getting divorced in 20 and the marriage was short lived. It was a very short lived marriage. I got divorced in 2023, so officially divorced in March of 2023. At that point, though, I had already been separated for almost a whole year. So our marriage truly only lasted a year or two. And
Yeah.
that's crazy to me. But you played a significant part, and this is not me saying that you're to blame for my divorce, but you played a significant part in me taking those steps towards, you know, changing my life because my relationship with my ex was toxic. It was unhealthy. It was toxic. It was not safe for our children. It was not safe for us. It was just not great. And I took that step because, you know, we were just talking about this morning about how you have that person that tells you the only thing that they tell you is you'll know when you know, you'll leave when you're ready, like that type of support. And then you just sit back and then they find it, they get so tired of the way things are and they find it and then they move forward. So you played that significant part by saying those things to me, by being that supportive person who was just like, you'll know when you know, you'll leave when you're ready, and then kind of just like leaving me to like sit in it and understand what was going on. And I really did. I looked at you and I looked at you taking that leap of leaving and chasing what you wanted. Your meeting will end in 10 minutes.
Let
It's
the bridge.
dude, I don't know about you. Okay, pause. Hold on. We're 10 minutes till the end. I don't know about you, but this whole time, this blur thing has been bugging me, and I'm like, take it off. Dude. Oh shit. I didn't mean to do. Anyway, uh, how do I get my video back? Anyway, I don't. it happened. I ended up getting divorced. I lived on my own for an entire year. Now I am back with my mom and my sister. The three of us single women are living together in the house. I'm taking care of my 4-year-old, co-parenting with my ex. Everything's going smoothly so far, so good. And I started a business. We're starting this podcast, and there's just so much that's going on that I feel like we both have to be grateful for. Um, like your life now, like everything that is going on in your life, your brand new, big, beautiful house, and your job, and all of these ventures that we're on. Like, I just think it's absolutely incredible. We have so much to be grateful for.
1,000%. And that is such a big motive behind what we're trying to accomplish, is because the baby me 5 years ago, if someone would have said, Tara, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. I would have ugly cried and been like, no way, no way. Like it felt like my whole world was coming down and I felt so out of control in a healthier way. Like I just felt like I know I can do this, but how? But how? And I've done it.
You've
I
done
have I have done it. I've freaking done it. And
it. Yeah.
we want to be able to show that. We want to be able to relate. And just give people love, give people a sense of community and let others know that one, you're not alone. And you should have sisters to talk to, even if you don't have blood relative sisters or really close family. Like you are so deserving. And for you and those people who have played that role in my life in helping me get to where I am today, I am forever grateful. It has changed my life from going to a person who's like, no, I don't need girlfriends, to the person who's like, no, no, mom talk. Like,
Yeah.
we deserve so much more. We deserve so much more.
And when you have these like passions and these goals, it's like it's not always as easy as sharing them with the people that you live with like the people that your family members, your close family members. We love our family members, but they don't always understand. So it's nice to have that person and that community that we all just get it. We get what we're after and we
Mhm.
support it. And it's nothing that we have to be ashamed of or embarrassed of or feel like we're being annoying about, because that's what it's about. It's about sharing these experiences. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's not easy to do that with people that, that have known you for your whole life, because there's a lot of room for doubt, and then doubt from other people turns into self-doubt, and so we kind of keep those things secret.
Yeah, and it's a shame. That's one of the biggest things I've learned is that in this life, we are meant to share. Sharing is truly caring, and that is how you're going to evolve, and that's how you're going to grow. It's one of the most valuable assets that you could have, especially as a woman, especially as a woman. And it's there, and we're here. And I am really, really looking forward to the lives that we're going to touch and the people we're going to get to meet from just doing this and being here. So it's so good. It's so good. Everything that you said is so amazing, and it's to a T. And I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us. I'm proud
Yeah.
of everything that we've built. I'm proud of everything that it's going to become, because I already know. Yes, this first episode is a little rocky, and we had a lot of trouble getting it set
Oh
up
my
at the
God.
beginning. We didn't really have a plan. And for those of you who are listening slash watching, like, this is completely raw, unscripted material. Like, we are just kind of.
These are literally our FaceTimes every other day.
Yes. And that's also another thing that led to this podcast, is that we have these deep talks when we're FaceTiming, and we're just like, wow, that's gold.
Good.
That is good stuff. That is good stuff. And so it's like, if we can do that for like an hour, sometimes our phone calls and our FaceTimes take like fucking 3 hours. Sorry. 3 hours. They take so long. And
Yeah.
it's just like, how are we even going to fit it into like a 30-minute YouTube video or a 30-minute podcast? And it's like, we are just going to have to share as much as we can.
Yep.
We have so much to share. This is the good part is like our whole lives up until now and everything that's coming after this point, it's
Yep.
all part of the journey and we want to share it and we want to empower people and we want to inspire women and we want to like we want to just enlighten women about
Mhm.
this incredible power.
Oh my gosh. We are. We're so powerful as human beings. And I think that we always joke and we're like, man, I wish we could find more people like us. I wish we could find more people who think the way that we do or who are, 5 steps ahead of where we want to be and bring them into our circle and just connect there, because again, there's just so much power in that. And I know we're going to find them. I know we're going to find them. I know we're going to reach the right people.
Absolutely. I do too. I do too. And honestly, the feeling is euphoric. Like it is a good high to ride, when, especially when you're in like a dark place.
Hmm.
So many times when I've been in like dark places, and then it's like we're asking each other, "Are you in a good place to talk right now?" And sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes I may not be, but deep down I'm like, I'm going to tell her yes because I know after we have this conversation, I'm going to walk away with something more valuable. And for whatever reason, every time we get done talking, the wheels just start turning in my mind and then I'm like, okay, and it's powerful. It's like
Hmm.
there's power in numbers and
Oh my gosh. Yeah. 1,000%. I could not have said that better. 1,000%. And I'm just so excited for what we have coming up next and just all the goodness that we are going to be dropping, all the goals, all things motherhood, probably a little unfiltered, all of it, all of it.
I am too. I really don't think that anyone is gonna want to miss this. I don't think this is something that you're gonna want to miss. So
Huh. Yay.
well, that is just gonna completely wrap up the first episode of our podcast. It's a little bit there. I mean, like this is a pretty long first episode, so we'll we'll have to, Tara, between you and I, we'll have to trim and cut and edit some of this stuff. But
Yeah.
that wraps up the first episode. Tara, how are you feeling?
I am so excited. I'm so excited. I can already feel that we're only manifesting the best, and the best of the best are going to find us, and we're going to be contributing and leaving an impact that's just going to be life changing. I'm ready.
Agreed.
Yes.
Yeah. All
I'm
right.
so
Well, I guess we're done with the episode. And we can move on to like editing everything and then I'll just FaceTime you.
okay.
Okay?
All right.
All right, bye.
Peace and hair grease.
Bye.